Companion is in theaters now, and it's a really good movie to go see with a great friend. You know, somebody that you can hang around with all the time, that shares your interests. Just a real, God, what's the word? Well, whatever. Here's the review. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Murrell, and this is my review of Companion. Companion! The new movie that's hitting theaters this weekend. The movie stars Jack Quaid and Sophie Thatcher as Josh and Iris, a perfectly happy couple who drive to a fancy lake house for the weekend to hang out with friends. This friend group includes Eli and Patrick, played by Harvey Guillen and Lucas Gage, an equally perfectly happy couple, Josh's friend Kat, played by Megan Suri, who Iris rightfully figures out doesn't really like her very much, and Sergei, played by Rupert Friend, the mysterious Russian who owns the house.
Just relax, you know? Don't be all mopey and weird. Just remember to smile and act happy.
What starts as a friendly weekend soon turns dark as murder and greed enter the picture, along with revelations about some of the guests that throw everything we know into disarray. Now, there is a major element of the plot that was not revealed in the first trailer for the movie that came out, but was eventually revealed in the second trailer and in some of the marketing materials. But I'm not going to talk about it in this review because I really do think that you will have maximum enjoyment of this movie if you go in knowing as little about the plot as possible. It's not a twist ending. It's not something in the third act that the movie's building up to. It's just a key element that initially I thought really made this kind of a mysterious sort of movie. A movie kind of like Fresh, which I saw blind a few years ago virtually at the Sundance Film Festival. I didn't know anything about that movie going in or what the approach to that movie would be, and I enjoyed it so much more than I think I would have if I'd seen it later when the basic premise of the movie had been given away in trailers and stuff. So many other reviews and marketing materials may be talking about this major element, but I'm going to talk around it in this review. Companion is from the same producing team behind the movie Barbarian, another movie that I think benefited from going in blind, including the director of that film, Zach Kreger. And in the interest of full disclosure, Drew Hancock, who wrote and directed this movie, is somebody that I actually have known since the mid-aughts, back in the Channel 101 days. He was somebody who I thought was a really good writer and director back then, and somebody who I'm even more impressed with now. I'm saying this not to brag or boast about it, but because I think it's important as a critic for me to disclose up front anything that some people might say is a conflict of interest. But to be fair, this movie went on my to-see list from the first trailer that I saw, which was several months ago, before I actually knew that he wrote and directed the film. And also, if anything, I should be biased against this movie because in addition to writing and directing a movie that I really enjoyed, Drew Hancock has been kicking my ass in fantasy football for many, many years. Still, I entered Companion with the same open-minded, clean slate that I walk into every movie with, and I found that I enjoyed the movie not just for the twists and turns of its plot, but also for the movie's humor, which you may not think going in would be one of its strongest suits, but there were several laugh-out-loud moments in the film, and it's rare for me to actually laugh out loud when I go to the early Thursday afternoon screenings because usually there aren't a whole lot of people there just because that's not a very popular time to go to the movies in my little town. Jack Quaid appears to be on the verge of having a moment, with The Boys continuing to be a huge draw and lead roles in this film and the action movie Novocaine, which is opening in March. As Josh, he's someone that you think you know, but who slowly reveals who he really is as the movie unfolds. And one of the things I like about it is that by the end of the movie, it is fully clear what his actual nature is, but it's never made into a big blazing headline or something that the script decides it needs to make a huge statement about. It's just a well-developed character. In other words, the movie shows and doesn't tell. Sophie Thatcher's Iris has a similar character arc, one of audience discovery and self-discovery, as she explores the concept of control and just how naturally you will accept putting your fate in the hands of somebody else. This performance, as well as her performance in the movie Heretic, which is a movie that came out late last year, I think means that she is also having a moment, and I love it when you see that in a movie, when you just happen to catch two leads who are sort of on an upswing at the same time and who work well in a movie together. I think that they were a very good duo to pair up for this film. The supporting cast of Companion is small but effective. Harvey Guillen turns on the charm as an affable and loving partner whose own relationship is sucked into the movie's vortex. Lucas Gage, last seen smashing his own face in with weights in Smile 2, gives his character an innocent naivete that is shattered by the events of this film and is also able to show an impressive range of emotions. Megan Surrey's Kat perfectly plays the role of that friend at the party who you suspect might have something devious up her sleeve, ready to spring a trap at a moment's notice. And Rupert Friend is obviously having a good time as Sergei, the Russian homeowner who hovers above it all, largely oblivious. There's a point in this movie, a comedic beat, where he just gives a blank stare that was one of the biggest laughs in the movie. So what kind of movie is Companion? Well, there are some things that I can say that I think don't risk giving away too much. It is in many ways a romance, and there are couples in this film who seem like they were just made for each other. In a lot of other ways, it is a thriller with some light horror elements. There's some film noir elements, and as I mentioned before, there are also a lot of comedy elements. So it's able to blend a lot of different things, including a big dose of something else that I'm not really going to mention right now. It's one of those movies that's tough to categorize because it's a lot of things and it does all of them well, and it's all tied together with some good cinematography by Eli Bourne, who also shot 2022's Hellraiser, with music from composer Hrishikesh Hirway, who I've been familiar with for a while, not from his musical abilities, but as the co-host of the podcast The West Wing Weekly, which I used to listen to every day driving to and from work when I lived in LA. January often gets a bad rap when we talk about the movies that are released at the beginning of the year, and to be fair, a lot of that reputation is earned, but I think that it would be a mistake to lump Companion in with the quality of film that we often see in January, even though there have been a couple even this year, other than this one that I thought were pretty good. I found myself engaged from beginning to end and genuinely surprised by where the story of this movie went, not just the twists and turns of the plot, but the acting as well, which is solid all around, and you're going to get some laughs along with the drama and suspense. Overall, Companion is what I can confidently say is a good movie, and as a matter of fact, on my personal scale, I'm going to give Companion a score that is very healthfully in the it's good range. I think if you go in there expecting to have a good time and maybe be a little bit surprised, especially if you've avoided some of those trailers, you will find a January release that is actually worth your time. So those are my thoughts on Companion. What do you think? Have you already seen it? Do you agree with me that it's best to go in without knowing a whole lot? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, stay tuned right here on the channel. I am prepping a video that was actually initially supposed to go out yesterday. I held it for a day to keep working on it, and I'm glad I did because it's all about the backlash and everything that's going on with Emilia Perez right now. And literally, it's something that's getting updated hour by hour because what started as a crazy story has just gone absolutely bananas in the last couple hours. So that's going to come out on Saturday or Sunday whenever I decide that maybe the developments will stop enough for me to actually make the video. And of course, stay tuned right here for more movie news, reviews, awards coverage, box office, and more. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.